Change begins from within. The first step often feels like the hardest. It's easy to stay where you are, but what if there's more waiting for you? The stages of self-mastery. Introduction. Self-mastery is often perceived as an unattainable summit, something only a select few can achieve. But the truth is, it's not about reaching some distant goal. It's a continuous, evolving journey through stages of growth. Each stage in this process is a doorway, a shift in perception, and a new way of relating to yourself and the world around you. Yet most people remain locked in the first stage, unable to progress. Stage 1, the beginning, holds immense potential. It's where we confront our raw, unrefined selves, the parts of us that have been conditioned by society, fear, and past trauma. It is the stage where we experience friction, resistance, and confusion, often feeling as though we're spinning in circles. Yet, ironically, this is also the stage where people tend to stay stuck, unaware of the deeper work required to move beyond it. This stagnation can arise from a myriad of factors: the comfort of familiarity, the fear of change, or the illusion that mastery is only for the enlightened few. In this audiobook, we will journey through the stages of self-mastery, uncovering the truths, the challenges, and the breakthroughs that await beyond stage 1. But we won't just look at the common pitfalls that keep people trapped in this phase. We'll also explore how to recognize when you're stuck, why it happens, and most importantly, how to break free. The path to mastery is not linear, and it certainly isn't easy, but by understanding the first stage deeply, you will be better equipped to rise through the challenges and unlock the power of your true potential. This isn't just an exploration of spiritual or philosophical ideas. It's a call to action. It's time to break free from the chains that bind us to mediocrity and step into the full power of self-mastery. Are you ready to break free from the chains that hold you back and step into your true potential? If so, type "I am ready" in the comments below. Give this audiobook a thumbs up and subscribe to stay on the path of transformation with us. Chapter 1. The Awakening, Realizing Your Current State. The first stage of self-mastery, often referred to as the awakening, marks the beginning of an individual's journey toward transformation. This stage is not about achieving something immediately tangible, but rather about coming to the realization that the life you've been living is not the fullest expression of your potential. It's the recognition that there is more to be experienced, more to be understood, and more to be achieved. This realization sparks an inner drive, a deep urge for change that pushes you to look beyond your current circumstances and challenges. The realization that something needs to shift within you is a profound moment. It creates the momentum for growth and self-improvement. During the awakening, there is an undeniable need to confront your current state of being. You begin to assess honestly where you stand in life, the habits and patterns you have adopted, and the beliefs that have guided your decisions thus far. Often, this assessment comes with a sense of discomfort, as it forces you to confront the truth of your situation without any sugarcoating. Many people remain stuck in cycles of mediocrity because they are unwilling to look at their lives as they truly are. However, to begin the path of self-mastery, it's crucial to break through this barrier of self-deception and see things clearly. Self-awareness becomes the foundation for all future growth. In this stage, the internal shift is catalyzed by the simple act of questioning. You begin to question everything: your beliefs, your behaviors, and the limitations you've silently accepted as truths. It's this questioning that cracks open the door to possibility. It breaks the bonds that have kept you tied to old patterns and allows you to see that what you once thought was inevitable is actually just a series of choices that can be re-examined. This questioning acts as the first catalyst in breaking free from self-imposed boundaries that have, up until this point, shaped your reality. A critical aspect of the awakening is acknowledging the gap between where you are and where you could be. This realization is often accompanied by a feeling of discomfort because it highlights the distance between your current reality and the higher potential that resides within you. Recognizing this gap is essential. It's the spark that ignites the desire to change. Without this recognition, the drive for transformation can easily fizzle out. It is in this moment of awakening that you decide to embark on the journey toward bridging this gap, and the path of self-mastery begins to unfold. Yet the most significant challenge in this stage is not the realization of your current state, but rather the discomfort that comes with change. The status quo, even if it's not ideal, can feel comfortable simply because it is familiar. Breaking free from this comfort zone requires immense courage. It means stepping into the unknown, facing the uncertainty of what lies ahead. The discomfort of change can feel daunting, and many people remain in their current state for fear of what transformation might entail. However, those who can summon the courage to embrace this discomfort will find that it's precisely this step into the unknown that leads to profound personal growth. Chapter 2. The Resistance. Confronting internal obstacles. As you step into the journey of transformation, a new challenge emerges, one that is deeply personal and internal. The initial awareness of your potential and the desire for change triggers the rise of resistance. This resistance isn't something external, but rather an internal force that emerges as soon as you decide to break free from the constraints of your current state. Fear, self-doubt, and inner conflict become your companions in this stage. These feelings are not just random obstacles. They are the deep-seated reactions of your mind and emotions to the unfamiliar territory of growth. The mind, which has grown comfortable in its old ways, resists anything that challenges its sense of safety. This resistance surfaces not because change is impossible, but because the unknown triggers fear and uncertainty. The first signs of growth can often feel like a battle between the old and the new within yourself. As you begin to envision a different reality, old habits, formed over years of comfort and familiarity, cling tightly to your psyche. These habits, even though they may no longer serve you, offer a sense of security. The internal conflict arises as these ingrained patterns of behavior fight against the new possibilities that are emerging within you. In this phase, change can feel overwhelming, as if you're being torn between your current self and the person you are becoming. This inner tug of war is the manifestation of resistance, an invisible force that seeks to keep you locked in old patterns. Resistance is deeply rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of inadequacy, fear of the unknown. It's a natural human response to want to stay in the familiar, to avoid the discomfort that comes with change. However, the more you try to push forward, the more the internal resistance intensifies. It shows up in the form of procrastination, avoidance, and a longing to return to the comfort of familiar routines. These actions are not a sign of weakness, but rather signals that your mind is fighting against change. The resistance is not an external force that you can easily escape. It is woven into your very habits and thought patterns. When these old behaviors start resurfacing, it's a clear sign that the resistance is trying to maintain control. The real challenge of this stage is not to ignore or bypass these internal obstacles, but to face them directly. The resistance you feel is not something to be feared, but rather understood. It is a part of the process of transformation. To overcome this resistance, you must be willing to confront your deepest fears and self-doubt head-on. This confrontation requires immense courage, as it's often easier to revert back to the safety of the known rather than continue forging ahead into the unknown. The mind can be a powerful adversary, feeding you doubts and creating mental barriers that seem insurmountable. But only by facing these fears can you begin to move beyond them. Another key aspect of this stage is persistence. Change doesn't happen overnight, and progress may seem slow or even non-existent at times. In these moments, resistance tries to convince you that you're not making any headway, that your efforts are futile. But persistence is what enables you to push through the resistance. The ability to keep moving forward, even when it feels like nothing is changing, is the antidote to the stagnation that resistance causes. The more you persist, the more you train your mind to see growth as inevitable, and the resistance begins to lose its power over you. In this stage, persistence becomes the cornerstone of your journey, and the act of continuing, even in the face of adversity, ensures that you move closer to the transformation you seek. Chapter 3. The Shifting. Adapting to New Mindsets. The phase of the shifting is where the real transformation begins to take place, as the grip of resistance loosens. It is a time of mental recalibration, where the deeply embedded limiting beliefs that have shaped your previous reality begin to dissolve. These beliefs, which once felt like absolute truths, start to lose their power. This marks the beginning of a profound internal transformation, where your perspective undergoes a radical shift. The shift is not just intellectual, but deeply emotional, as new possibilities begin to emerge, and you start to see the world through a lens that was previously clouded by fear and scarcity. What once seemed impossible or out of reach now feels attainable, as the mental barriers that held you back are replaced by the realization that change is within your grasp. This transformation is primarily a shift in mindset. Your previous mindset, which may have been rooted in scarcity, fear, or limitation, starts to give way to one of abundance, courage, and possibility. As your old beliefs begin to lose their grip, a new perspective takes root, one that embraces the idea that there is more than enough in life for you to achieve your dreams and desires. This shift is not just about positive thinking, it's about fundamentally altering the way you approach challenges and opportunities. It's about recognizing that there is a wealth of possibilities available to you if you can learn to see beyond the limitations that once confined you. One of the most significant changes in this phase is the shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. Scarcity thinking often revolves around the belief that resources, whether time, energy, or opportunities, are limited, and therefore competition and fear must dictate your actions. When you shift to an abundant mindset, you start to see that there is no shortage of opportunities. Instead of viewing the world as a place where there's not enough to go around, you begin to see that the universe is vast, offering infinite opportunities for growth and success. This shift allows you to approach life with a sense of trust and possibility, knowing that your desires are not only valid, but achievable. Equally transformative is the shift from fear to courage. Fear has held many people back from pursuing their true potential, often driving them to stay in comfort zones or avoid taking risks. But when your mindset shifts, you begin to embrace courage instead of fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward despite it. As your mindset evolves, you find that you are more willing to step into the unknown, to take risks, and to venture beyond what you once thought possible. This is where growth accelerates, as you begin to tap into the hidden potential that has been lying dormant within you. The challenge in this stage lies in the ability to let go of the need for certainty. The need for certainty often keeps people stuck, as they wait for conditions to be just right before making a move. However, true transformation requires embracing uncertainty. Uncertainty is not something to be feared. It is a fertile ground for creativity and innovation. When you let go of the need for rigid certainty, you open yourself up to new ideas and solutions that would not have been possible with a fixed mindset. This flexibility in thinking allows you to adapt and adjust your approach as you navigate the challenges and opportunities of your journey. As your mindset shifts, new patterns of thought begin to emerge. These new patterns are not just about thinking in a more positive way, but about thinking in a more empowering and expansive way. With these new patterns comes clarity, a clarity that allows you to see your goals and desires with greater focus and precision. What once seemed vague and uncertain now becomes clear as your thoughts align with your true aspirations. It is through this clarity that you can take inspired action toward the fulfillment of your desires. However, the temptation to return to old, safe thought patterns can still linger. The real challenge of this stage is resisting the urge to revert to the familiar, to fall back into the comfort of old ways of thinking. It requires constant vigilance and a commitment to staying open to new ideas and possibilities. Only by allowing the new patterns to fully take root can you experience lasting transformation. Chapter 4. The Discipline. Building consistent habits. The stage of the discipline represents a crucial turning point in the journey toward self-mastery. Here, discipline is not about harsh rules or controlling every aspect of life. It is the force that converts your intentions into tangible actions. It acts as the bridge between what you envision and what you actually create. Without discipline, your desires and goals remain nothing more than abstract ideas that lack form or substance. It's in this stage that your ambitions begin to take shape and start to materialize as you develop the consistent habits and practices necessary for progress. Discipline enables you to move beyond mere aspirations and brings you into the realm of realization. At the core of discipline is the creation of systems and routines that support your personal growth. You begin to understand that progress doesn't happen through sporadic bursts of energy or occasional efforts. Instead, it is the small, consistent actions taken over time that lead to lasting change. Creating systems, whether it's through specific habits, rituals, or frameworks, helps you structure your life in a way that keeps you focused and on track. These routines are not restrictive, they are empowering because they align your daily activities with your long-term goals. They become the foundation on which your progress is built, giving you the consistency needed to continue forward. Discipline in this stage isn't about imposing rigidity or forcing yourself to do things that feel unnatural. Rather, it's about channeling your energy into practices that nurture your growth and development. It is an intentional focus on what will move you closer to your desired outcome. By dedicating yourself to these focused actions, you are not merely forcing change to happen, but are actively creating the conditions necessary for it to unfold. The energy you invest in these routines flows into your personal growth, making them an integral part of the process rather than a burden or obligation. However, the challenge of discipline doesn't lie in the difficulty of the actions themselves. Rather, it lies in the consistency of those actions. The truth is that motivation can be fleeting. There will be days when the initial excitement fades and the energy to act may feel low. The strength of discipline is not in being motivated all the time, but in the ability to keep going, even when external sources of inspiration or encouragement fade. True discipline is not about relying on motivation, but about creating habits that operate independently of fluctuating moods. It's about showing up for the task at hand, regardless of whether you feel like it or not. The key to sustaining momentum is to establish a rhythm that feels natural and is aligned with your goals. Creating a daily rhythm that integrates your practices into your life ensures that progress is consistent. This rhythm doesn't demand perfection, but instead focuses on steady, repeated actions that align with your values and objectives. Over time, these actions become so ingrained in your routine that they no longer feel like separate tasks, but rather a natural part of your life. Discipline becomes second nature, not because you are forcing it, but because it has become a part of your daily rhythm, woven into the fabric of who you are and what you do. This is when the real transformation happens, when the effort becomes effortless and your goals start to manifest as a direct result of the consistent, disciplined actions you take every day. Chapter 5. The Letting Go. Releasing Attachments. The letting go is a transformative stage in the journey towards self-mastery. It is the process of releasing the attachments that have shaped your identity and held you in place, whether they are external or internal. Attachments are not just about people, possessions, or circumstances. They also include beliefs, patterns of thought, and behaviors that have become so entrenched that they define who you believe you are. To truly evolve, it is essential to let go of these attachments, as they weigh you down and prevent you from embracing the new possibilities that life has to offer. Holding on to these familiar constructs, even when they no longer serve you, creates a barrier to growth. Without the act of release, progress becomes stifled, and transformation cannot occur. Letting go, however, is not about surrendering or giving up. It is not an act of defeat, but rather a conscious decision to create space for something new. By releasing what no longer aligns with your true self, you open up room for fresh experiences, perspectives, and opportunities. It's similar to decluttering a room. Removing the excess allows the space to breathe and invites new energy to flow in. The attachments you hold on to, whether they are fears, past identities, or limiting beliefs, act as mental clutter that cloud your vision and restrict your ability to move forward. When you choose to release them, you gain a clearer view of what is truly important to you, allowing your life to become more focused, more purposeful, and more aligned with your deeper desires. At this stage, you are also challenged to let go of the need for control and certainty. Much of human suffering comes from the desire to control every aspect of life: how things unfold, how others behave, and how outcomes turn out. But life, by its very nature, is unpredictable and ever-changing. When you hold on too tightly to certainty, you create a rigid framework that limits your ability to flow with life's natural rhythm. This is where true freedom begins. By releasing the need to control, you allow life to unfold in its own way. You can still take action, set goals, and move forward, But there is a deeper sense of trust that life will guide you even when things don't go exactly as planned. The freedom comes from knowing that not everything needs to be controlled for things to work out. Releasing attachments in this phase is not limited to material possessions or even specific relationships. It is also about shedding old identities and mindsets that have been ingrained over time. These beliefs, often formed in childhood or through past experiences, can hold you hostage to a version of yourself that no longer aligns with your growth. For instance, you might identify as someone who always struggles with self-worth, or someone who isn't capable of achieving certain goals. These identities keep you attached to a past self, one that is not representative of who you are becoming. Letting go of these old self-conceptions is vital for stepping into a more authentic and empowered version of yourself. The process of letting go may involve leaving behind environments, ideas, or patterns that once felt comfortable but now hinder your evolution. The key is to recognize that true freedom comes when you stop trying to manipulate life's outcomes and embrace uncertainty. This act of releasing is a constant practice, one that involves trusting in the natural flow of life and accepting that not everything needs to be controlled. Freedom arises when you allow yourself to live fully in the present moment, without the constant need to grasp onto the past or force the future into being. In this way, letting go becomes not just an act of release, but an affirmation of trust in the journey ahead. Chapter 6. The Integration, Aligning Mind, Body, and Spirit. The integration represents a transformative stage where you bring all aspects of yourself into alignment. This stage is not merely about adopting new behaviors or thinking patterns. It's about harmonizing your mind, body, and spirit in a way that reflects your deepest truths. True mastery is not about achieving perfection or reaching a final, unchanging state. Rather, it's about creating consistency in your actions, thoughts, and emotions, ensuring they are all aligned with your authentic self. The essence of integration is the blending of your inner world, your beliefs, values, and desires, with your external actions and expressions. When these elements are in harmony, your life begins to reflect a deeper sense of purpose and authenticity. At this stage, integration requires more than just awareness of your beliefs and values. It requires the courage to live them out in every moment. Each thought, word, and action must resonate with your highest truths. For example, if you hold a deep belief in kindness, integration means not only thinking about kindness, but also embodying it in your interactions with others. This authenticity creates a flow between who you are on the inside and how you express yourself on the outside. Integration is about embodying your deepest principles, making sure your life is an extension of the values you hold dear. Living authentically is at the heart of this stage. It is not about trying to fit into a mold of perfection or striving for an unattainable ideal. Instead, it's about being true to yourself and acting in a way that reflects your core identity. The challenge of integration lies in staying committed to these new ways of being, even when old habits or patterns may try to reassert themselves. It's easy to slip back into familiar behaviors that may not align with your authentic self, especially when faced with stress, uncertainty, or external pressures. However, true integration requires you to remain grounded in your new identity and consistently reflect that identity in your actions, even in difficult circumstances. Mindfulness and awareness play a crucial role in this process. It's not enough to simply make changes. You must cultivate an ongoing awareness of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. This awareness allows you to catch moments when you might stray from your true self and gently redirect your energy back to alignment. It's a continuous process of checking in with yourself and ensuring that your choices reflect who you are becoming, not who you were in the past. This mindfulness helps you remain on the path of integration, where your inner and outer worlds exist in harmony, without judgment or fear of imperfection. True mastery occurs when every part of you, your mind, body, and spirit, operates as one. You begin to function in a seamless flow, where your external actions match your internal state. This alignment creates a sense of peace and purpose because you are no longer living in conflict with yourself. Your life begins to reflect your highest potential, as your actions are directly aligned with your beliefs and desires. Integration is not an endpoint, but a process of continuous realignment with your authentic self. It marks the beginning of a life where your inner truths are lived out in a way that is consistent, meaningful, and fully aligned with your purpose. Chapter 7. The Testing. Facing external challenges. The testing is a crucial phase in the journey of self-mastery. It is during this stage that you encounter external challenges designed to assess the depth of your growth and the strength of your transformation. Life has a way of presenting situations that test whether the inner changes you've made are genuinely rooted in your being, or if they were just temporary shifts. These challenges are not just random difficulties. They are reflections of your internal state. They serve as mirrors, showing you where you've truly made progress and where there may still be work to do. It's easy to believe in your transformation when life is smooth, but the real measure of growth lies in how you handle adversity. When these external challenges arise, they do more than test your resilience. They reveal the depth of your internal work. The way you respond to these situations demonstrates whether you've truly integrated the lessons you've learned. For example, if you've cultivated a mindset of abundance, but are faced with a financial setback, how you react can show whether you've genuinely adopted this mindset or if it was just a temporary idea. The challenges force you to take what you've internalized and apply it in real-world situations. This is where the true application of your inner work becomes visible. You can no longer rely solely on theoretical knowledge or abstract ideas. You must live them out, applying your principles to real, sometimes difficult circumstances. This stage serves as a reminder that self-mastery is not just about inner transformation. It requires the ability to bring your inner growth into the outer world. It's easy to feel enlightened when you're in a calm, controlled environment, but the true test of your progress comes when external factors challenge you. Life will push you out of your comfort zone, testing your ability to stay aligned with your core beliefs when things are not going as planned. Whether it's a conflict at work, a personal relationship issue, or an unexpected setback, these external pressures offer the opportunity to apply what you've learned. The testing phase challenges you to demonstrate your ability to remain grounded in your new mindset, no matter the situation. In this stage, the external challenges don't serve as obstacles in the traditional sense. Rather, they are opportunities for growth. They show you where you are still attached to old patterns or beliefs and where your new way of thinking has truly taken root. Your level of mastery is determined not by how easily you handle smooth situations, but by how you respond to difficulty, discomfort, and unpredictability. These real-world tests force you to stay true to your principles, even when everything around you is chaotic. It's about applying the wisdom you've gathered in moments of discomfort, making sure that your inner transformation isn't just a private experience, but something that's reflected in your external reality. The true measure of your mastery is not whether you avoid challenges, but how you face them with integrity, resilience, and a deep alignment with your authentic self. Chapter 8. The Mastery. Embodying your true potential. The mastery phase represents a profound evolution that goes beyond the concept of a final destination. It's not about achieving an endpoint and declaring that you have reached a state of perfection. Instead, this stage marks a continuous process of embodying your true potential, living in alignment with your highest self, and refining your abilities as you go. Mastery is no longer something that you are striving for. It becomes your natural state. It's as if the work you have done in the earlier stages has finally come to fruition, and you now find yourself living in a way that perfectly reflects the growth, transformation, and awareness you have gained throughout the journey. In this phase, the internal changes you've undergone are reflected in every aspect of your life. Your actions, thoughts, and behaviors align with your deepest values and truths. You no longer need to remind yourself of your principles or set goals to keep you on track. Your life becomes an expression of your inner mastery. This state of harmony allows you to make decisions with ease and confidence, guided by your highest essence. There is a sense of flow that comes with the embodiment of mastery. Everything you do feels intentional and purposeful, aligned with the deepest parts of who you are. There's no need for external validation or recognition because your internal alignment is what drives your actions. And this is where true fulfillment lies. Mastery is not static. It's not a moment that you reach and then stop growing. Instead, it is an ongoing process of refinement and growth. Just as the journey to self-mastery involves continuous stages of evolution, so too does the mastery itself. Even when you embody your true potential, there is always room for deeper understanding and further development. The process of growth doesn't end with the realization of your highest self. It continues in a perpetual cycle. You will always find new layers of yourself to explore, new ways to express your authenticity, and new opportunities for aligning your actions with your inner truths. Mastery, therefore, is not an endpoint. It is the ongoing journey of becoming more fully yourself over and over again. As you enter this stage, you begin to live your life as a reflection of your highest self. Every decision, every action you take is guided by the clarity of your core values. There is no longer a gap between what you believe and how you act. The authenticity that you embody in your inner world now radiates outward, creating a life that reflects your true potential. This alignment allows you to move through life with ease and confidence because you know that your actions are congruent with your deepest truths. You no longer question yourself or second-guess your decisions because the alignment between who you are and what you do is so strong. Moreover, as you continue on this path of self-mastery, you become a guiding light for others. Your growth and embodiment of your true potential allow you to serve as a beacon for those who are still on their own journey. At this stage, you no longer need to seek external validation because the transformation you've undergone becomes an inspiration to others. Your life's example teaches others what is possible when they embark on their own path of self-mastery. You become a source of wisdom, compassion, and understanding, offering guidance to those who are ready to step into their own power and authenticity. In this space of mastery, there is no longer a desire to fix or change others. Instead, you guide and inspire them by simply being your true self. The way you live your life, the way you interact with the world, and the way you handle challenges becomes an invitation for others to explore their own potential. Your mastery is not something you impose on others, but rather it serves as an invitation to join you in the continuous journey of growth and evolution. You model what it looks like to live with authenticity, to act from a place of alignment with your highest self, and to continually evolve toward your full potential. True mastery, then, is not about achieving a state of perfection, but about embodying your fullest potential, living in alignment with your highest values, and embracing the ongoing process of growth. It is a dynamic, ever-evolving experience that allows you to show up in the world as your truest self, constantly refining, expanding, and becoming more of who you are meant to be. As you continue to live in alignment with your true essence, you also become a source of light for others, helping them navigate their own paths toward self-mastery. The mastery you embody is not just for you, but for the benefit of the world around you, creating a ripple effect that encourages others to tap into their own potential and become the best versions of themselves. As we've explored the 8 stages of self-mastery, it's clear that each phase brings its own unique challenges and breakthroughs, from awakening to the realization of your true potential, to facing internal and external resistance, and ultimately embodying your highest self. The journey is one of continuous growth and alignment. Each step is essential in transforming your mindset, actions, and beliefs, helping you create a life that reflects your authentic essence. Now, it's your turn. If you like this content, you're already opening your mind to new possibilities and fueling your own journey of growth. If you share it, you're helping others on their path to transformation, spreading the wisdom you've received. And by hitting subscribe, you're committing to your own continuous evolution, staying connected to more empowering content that will keep you aligned with your highest potential. So, like, share, and subscribe, because every action you take brings you closer to embodying your true self.